So welcome back guys to my YouTube channel. In this YouTube channel we are helping you to edit your videos. So we are using Filmora to edit videos. We are helping you to put effects on your video, how to do sound on your video, how to add b-rolls, and how to add even the subscribe button on your videos so that when you upload your videos on YouTube it can be a good quality video. So right now here I'm just editing a video and I just want to show you how to edit this video. Now if you're liking such kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe so that you can support the team behind this channel. It also helps many people to be able to get this content so that they're able to upgrade their videos. Alright guys, welcome to complete practical step-by-step editing using Filmora. I'm going to take you through how I edit my video from the start to the end. These are practical step-by-step editing. I'm not just talking here, I'm talking as I show you exactly what I do to come up with great videos that I've edited. So I'm going to take you through the 8 main steps I follow in editing my videos here using Filmora 10. Editing video is very easy and Filmora is very lightweight for most beginners. That's why I'm using Filmora up to now. Using Filmora is just enough to give you what you want as far as editing your videos for YouTube or for whatever purpose is concerned. Now, the 8 steps are: 1 is color grading. The second step, which I do, is cropping. The third step is sound. The fourth step is cutting out unwanted parts. The fifth step is always exporting or downloading your video and then reloading it back again to examine the pace of the person talking. The sixth step is always adding new b-rolls, pictures, graphics, title, transition, etc. And then the seventh step is always adding the subscribe button, and of course the last step is adding the music. So I'm going to show you all these steps the way I do it. Again, I'll encourage you, or I'll say, follow these steps the way I follow them. If you skip one step, you'll always have a problem at the end. Remember, editing videos take hours. You can take up to 8 hours editing one video. You don't want to reach the end of the video just to realize you've made one small mistake or you've skipped one step and now you have to start again editing the same video twice. Imagine spending 8 hours to edit one video just to come back again and realize you have to spend another 8 hours editing the same video because you didn't follow the right step or procedure. That's why I'm giving you this step-by-step practical illustration on how to edit your videos using Filmora. I hope you're going to like this. I hope you're going to get some value. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So I've opened my Filmora account. If you don't have Filmora, please go ahead and buy Filmora. It costs less than $70 a year as a beginner, and it gives you so many good features like audio, titles, transitions, effects, elements, split screen, etc. Alright, so let's begin editing this video. So you're just going to follow with me how I edit my video from the start to the end, and like that you're going to learn a ton of stuff at the end of this video. Now of course at some points I'm going to skip so that I don't bore you with so many of my repetitions, okay? If you're ready, let's get started. Alright, so what's the first step? The first step, of course, you want to drag and drop your video to your timeline. Now that is simple, everybody knows that. So of course the first thing you want to drag and drop on your folder here, but I've already done that, so I'm just going to drag it directly onto my timeline right here. Now this is the video of this lady talking about some stuff that she wants to post on her YouTube channel. Of course my video here is 23 minutes long. If you want to know how long a video is, just check on top here, right here. All right, so of course this is the screen that appears, shows you what you're doing or what the end result that you're going to get. There are some navigation, of course, on top here, like media, audio, titles, transition, etc. We're going to use those things. Now there is the redo and undo button here, and then there is the delete. The cut, so important. This cut button is so important. The cropping or the panning, there's these other buttons which mostly you don't use this as a lot. I think the ones we're going to use mostly is this: redo, undo, delete, cut, crop, and pan. But let me just tell you this: the first thing you want to do even before you edit any video, the first thing you want to do once you drag the video onto your timeline is you want to do 3 things. Number 1, or let me say you want to do 2 things. Number 1, you want to do color grading. Color grading is so important. You want to make sure that the final thing is not going to have different grading. You want to make sure you deal with some contrast, some brightness, and saturation as far as color is concerned. People love to watch good quality videos, and good quality videos come from good color. So you want to do color grading, which you're the first thing I'm going to do. The second and most important thing you want to do is you want to crop out those parts which definitely you're sure you're going to have in any part or in any area of your video. Now for this particular video, I'm not going to crop a lot, but I'm just going to show you, for the sake of you knowing how to edit in Filmora, I'm going to show you how to crop your video. All right, let's start with color grading. So I've dragged my video onto my timeline. The first thing I want to do is I want to double click on that, and then it's going to bring me to here. Once you double click on the video here, come to color right here, click on color, and then just skip this color enhancement, white balance, and come to tone. These are important, but I've used them so far, and for a beginner, you don't need a lot of this. Let's just go into tone here. Now, this is where you want to do some things. Let's drag this video here so that I can see this exactly where she is as I'm doing the editing. Now, you can always increase some brightness if you want. You can always increase some saturation and contrast. Now, of course, brightness increases the color. Saturation increases saturation of the colors. Like if, for example, we have a blue color on the screen, it's going to increase the blue to become dark blue. Contrast here is going to give you some more contrast as far as the different colors in your video is concerned. Because when you're shooting your videos, you want to show all the different colors contrasted from all the other colors. There is no specific range or value you're going to be told here to use. Now again, to change this, you just need to drag and drop this thing on whatever side you want. Of course, if you increase the contrast, for example, you just increase it going right. To reduce it, you drag this going left. To increase saturation, drag this going right. To reduce it, drag it going left. Same to brightness, right? Increases, left, decreases. Let me just reset that so that it becomes where it was back. Again, this is the reset button. If you don't know, you can always click on this button if you made a mistake to reset everything back to where it was. So click on reset, it has come back to where it was originally. 000. All right, so again, the first thing, color grading. We are here on color grading, and I've said the first thing you have to do is go to tone here. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to increase a little bit of brightness. Now, again, there is no specific thing here. Just go ahead and do your thing and look at what is working out for you. So I'm just going to rush through this and decide on what works for me. See you in a bit. Alright guys, so again we are back here, and what I've done is I've increased my contrast to 45, I've increased my saturation to 43, and because this video is a bit dark themed, I've increased the lightness to around 27. Now of course, now the girl is more lit, she's more vibrant, she looks better on screen, and this is what I'm going to use for the entire of my video. Now the reason why I'm saying you want to start with color grading is this. Remember, you're going to add a lot of b-rolls, you're going to add a lot of text, other effects. Now, this text, other effects, and b-roll, mostly they are always in the right color grading. You don't always want to interfere with this text and this other b-rolls. So if you do color grading at the end, when you finish, you're going to affect even the parts of the video, like the texts and the b-rolls, which you don't want to affect, because most of these texts and b-roll come with the right color grade, and they come with the right contrast, the right saturation, the right brightness. That's why I'm saying you must start with color grading, and then the next thing you have to do is cropping. So just follow the steps I've said. I've edited a video for long periods of time, and I know this works. So the first thing, color grading. The next thing is cropping. For this case, I'm not going to crop a lot, but let's say I just wanted to crop, let's say I had something right here that completely I wanted to be out of my video from the start to the end. So guys, I've added this timer on my timeline so that I show you how to crop out your video when you begin. Now, I don't want, for example, let's say this is a clock or a timer somewhere at the top of this room somewhere there, and I don't want it completely in my videos or at whatever point. What I'm going to do is very simple. I want to make sure I crop out this thing in my entire video roll. Of course, you're going to do a lot of cropping also in the process of editing the video, but that particular part I don't want it anywhere in my video. So to crop this, double click on that, and then come to this button here, return crop, click on crop, and then I want to remove that part. So let me just do that again. Do that, click on crop, and then that timer was somewhere here. That timer was somewhere here, so I'm just going to drag that and remove that timer completely from my entire video. Now, the reason I'm saying this, you want to crop next, is because more often than not, most of us always leave a huge space between the subject or the person talking and the last part of the video right here, this last frame. So this space sometimes people leave so big. Now, mostly you don't always want this space to be so big, so just crop out that space at the beginning of the video and forget about it, like that. Then after that, you've just finished. Now, so I'm just going to take back this video to how it was. I'm going to remove that part, and those are the first two steps you want to do, guys, when you are editing your videos. Now we are going to go to the third step, which of course is the most important step, cutting the unwanted areas. But before we cut, another thing, just before we start cutting, and cutting is the main part in terms of editing your video, guys. If you want to know how to edit your video, if you want to know where most video editors spend their time, is cutting the unwanted part. Once you've cut the unwanted part, the video is always as good as done. Adding b-rolls and text, of course, is also so important, but the part where you cut those parts where the subject stops or the person talking looks another direction or forgets what he or she was supposed to say, cutting those points out is so important, because remember, you want to have a flawless, seamless video from the start to the end. You don't want those pauses and those mistakes in your video. So you need to cut out all those mistakes and pauses from your video, and they're always happening almost after every 31 minutes, every 30 or 60 seconds, depending on the person who is talking on that video or whatever that video is about. So you want to cut out all these parts so that you have a seamless, flawless video from the start to the end. Now again, before we go to cutting, the next thing that you might want to consider, if you didn't have a very good audio or audio capturing device like a microphone, you want to take care of sound. So you want to double click on the video again on the timeline and then come to audio right here. If the sound was not so clear or there's a lot of background noise, you can always try and make it soft by coming to the equalizer here under audio, click on this button, and I always like to use this soft right here. So you can click this, it just makes the sound a bit soft for the listener. You can try any of these that you think really sounds well for your particular video. Again, there is no particular rule to follow here. It's just you to listen and hear which sound is soft and crisp and clear and it's audible to your listeners and viewers. So those are the three things you want to do. Again, with the first thing I've said you want to do is you want to do color grading, you want to crop the parts you know you're not going to use anywhere, and the next thing, you want to make sure that your sound is clear. Now for this particular video, I think the volume or the audio was so audible, crisp, and also audible and clear. I don't need to do anything as far as the audio is concerned. So those are the first three things I normally do when I'm editing my video. Now let's go into the main part, which is cutting your video. Okay guys, so now the next thing is to cut out the unwanted or the unnecessary parts in this video. The parts where the person speaking pauses or says something that wasn't supposed to be said, or whatever you don't want in the video. This is the part where we do the cutting, and mostly this is the one that takes most of the time. All right, let's begin.
We want to
guys,
avoid
so
that as much
as you are editing and as you are cutting out the unwanted parts, what you want to do is you want to listening to every word that the person in the video is saying, to cut out those parts which you don't want in your video. So what I'm doing right now, I'm clicking this play button right here. This is a play button. I click this
as possible. You are struggling with the
she's talking, then I'm looking at the pauses, I'm looking at the repetitions, I'm looking at the parts which she made a mistake that I want to cut out. So that's what I do. I listen in
process. You're putting your financial resources as much as you can to realize this dream. And
so like somewhere there I've realized that she has paused a bit, she's taking a breath. So what you always want to do is always come to this part here. You see this part here, you want to maximize that part so that you see it exactly how the volume or the spaces between the words are. So you can always use these two negative and positive buttons to expand your video or to contract your video to see exactly the points you want to delete. Now I've already deleted some parts, and as you can see here, I've deleted some parts here. That's why you can see these lines here, because right now from here to where I am, somewhere here, it's now flowing seamlessly. There are no pauses, there are no repetitions, there are no places, there are unwanted places. I've removed all that by simply using this cut button here and then clicking on delete, or clicking on this delete button right here. Alright, so I'm going to listen in as I delete the parts that I don't want. Here is mainly cutting out or deleting the parts you don't want. Alright, let's go on.
You are struggling with the whole process. You're putting your financial resources as much as you can to realize this dream. And
alright, so right there I want to cut. That's what I do. I drag my timer here, this red line here, I drag it there, then I click on that so that it marks for me that point that I want to delete, and then I drag it back. I don't drag this part again. I click on that, and then now because it has highlighted that, I can just go ahead and click delete on my keypad on my desktop, or come and click on delete right here. Okay, so you can either click on this delete, or click on delete or the delete button on your keypad. Now if for example this place was not highlighted, I can highlight the one I want to delete. Now make sure before you click on this delete button, you highlight which area you want to delete. For my case, I want to delete this part. I'm just going to click on that, and then I click on delete. You have seen it has gone, so I've deleted that part. The next thing, I just want to continue listening in and being keen on those parts which I want to delete. All right, let's go on.
And at the end, you're going to work for an agency for
now, if you've heard that she's repeated that herself, so I want to delete that part which she has repeated. I'm going to click on play again. At the end,
you're going to work for
you see, she said you're going to work for her. So those are the parts you're always deleting. It's very simple, guys. You always just click on play.
You're going to work.
Listen, and then once you listen, you know the part you want to delete. Just come here, click on that. Click on that. Then it demarcates the part you want to delete. I think I'll put here. Click on that like that, and then once that's highlighted, click on delete button. Now, if you don't want to click on left click on that, you can always click on this split. So the same thing works. If you click on this split, it has marked that. So if you again click on the split or the scissor here, it has marked that. Now, let's say for example you've done a mistake by clicking on that split or that mark there. What you want to do is you want to undo that part. Just come to this right button here and just click undo, 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 undo. It has undone everything I did in the past 4 steps. It is that simple. Just continue doing that, highlighting, deleting, listening, highlighting, deleting, listening, highlighting, deleting the parts you don't want. That's simple. So I'm just going to continue this entire video, and hopefully you will understand what I'm doing, and then we go to the next step, which is to download. I think this is the most important step. Once you've done this part, you've removed the bad parts, just go ahead and download the video because now it's good to go. At this point, the video is just good to go. All right, guys, so I've edited my entire video. Basically what I've done is I have just cut on the places that I don't want to be on my video. If you look at my video right here, right now on the timeline, you can see there's so many cuts, and that is common with almost any video and all the videos you're going to edit. These are all the cuts I've made. They're probably in the hundreds of cuts, and I've probably taken like 3 hours to do this. So it's a hell of work, guys, but that is what editing is all about. This is the main part when it comes to editing: removing the parts you don't want, cutting out the parts you don't want, and deleting the parts you don't want to appear in the video. Now, the next thing that I did after I'd done all this, I went through and consumed the video myself before I download it and export it to my desktop. So I've played it here and I've consumed the whole of this. I've viewed the entire video to see that it is exactly the way I want. Everything is flowing seamlessly and flawlessly. So that is what I've done. Now, of course, I'm using these 2 buttons right here to navigate. This one, I can use this to kind of squeeze it at the end of my timeline here if I want to see the whole of it. But if I want to maybe again do some edit at some point, say at this point, I'll have to click the plus button right here to expand and see exactly what I want to do at that point. So this is it, guys. We've cut and deleted the parts we don't want. I've gone through it, I've consumed or viewed the entire video again, and to me it's good to go. The next thing I want to do is, before I do anything, which is of course I'm going to add the b-rolls and other pictures, the pictures of the graphics. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download this into my desktop or export it to my desktop, and then after that we are going to kind of fasten it, speed it up, speed the video up in terms of the stock time that this video is all about. I'm going to show you when you get there. So the next thing we're going to do is of course export this video. To export it or download it to your desktop is very simple. Just come to this big button here called export, click on it, and then it brings you this window. On this window I'm going to name this. I can name it whatever you want. So I'm going to name this maybe edit 1 cut. So because I was mainly doing cutting or deleting here, I can say cut, delete, or whatever you want to name it. Just name it whatever you want. And then the next thing it's going to ask you here is, so this is the name that you give it, save to. So which folder do you want to save it to? I'm going to save it to, that was the folder I want. And then, of course, the resolution is always just as good as it is. The frame, most of the settings are just as good as they are. The next thing you also want to be very careful about is the type or the format in which the video is going to download into. Always I choose MP4. I don't even think about these other ones. I always choose MP4. And then once you are satisfied with the settings here, just click on export. And you click on export, it will start exporting your video like that. Now, depending on how long your video is, it can take as less as 3 seconds to as more as hours to download and export your video. But the way I'm saying this is going to take probably, like, it's even giving me time remaining here. It's saying around 34 seconds, whatever. 34 minutes, sorry, but I'm sure it's going to take less than 20 minutes to render or download or export this entire video. Right, guys, it's the next step. So it's downloading and exporting my video to my desktop. I'm just going to leave this to download and take its sweet time. Meaning, like, I'll take a break and maybe take some drink or something, eat something, maybe take a rest before I get back. This is probably going to take 10 to 20 minutes. So you can always leave it to finish whatever it's doing. Depending on also the computer you're using, it can go faster. So let's leave this to finish what it's doing, and then we'll get back to it. So guys, it has finished downloading. So I'm going to go to the folder which has my download. So I think my folder is right here. Here is the video that I have downloaded, and now it's complete. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I can watch it, but because I already watched it in the editing tool, I'm not going to watch it again. What I want to do, I want to reload this same video back, and then the next part is we are going to examine the pace of the person who is talking. So the next part is examining the pace of the person who is talking, and mostly I'll let's increase the pace of the person who is talking. Let's do this and see. So I'm going to go to file here and start a new project because I want to upload the video fresh. Now it's good. I removed all the bad parts. I'm going to copy this on my folder right here, and then bring it down to my timeline. Like always, when this thing asks you to, this thing is always asking you, do you want to match the resolution or the frame of this media to the settings of this project? You always have to click yes. Okay, so match to media. Always match this. Always click it to match. Okay, so that you don't affect on the quality of the video. So this is what we have now. If I play this, is going to sound very flawless, like as if the person on this video was not making any mistakes or any errors, but actually she was making some mistakes in the process of talking or of doing the submission. But right now it's flawless because I've removed the bad parts, and that's what people want. People don't want to hear those bad parts where you're pausing, you're taking breaks, maybe you're drinking some water, you're drawing some words. People don't want to hear that. People don't have time. People want to go and watch their favorite TikTok videos. So you want to remove all those parts. All right, let me play this and see just how it sounds.
So guys, I've been slapped with a $13,500 bill. Yes, why? Due to my ignorance and probably from somebody I trusted and believed when I was starting this process of becoming a US RN. The reason...
Alright guys, so now as you can hear or as you can see, now there are not those bad places where they're dragging the words, they're repeating themselves, they're pausing. We removed all that. So guys, just a quick recap of what we've done so far. We've done color grading on our videos. We've kind of edited the color by right clicking on the timeline right here, and we've played around the contrast, saturation, and brightness. The second thing we did with some cropping, where I told you can go into cropping here. When you click on this, you go to this tab here, right? Crop. It brings you this window, and then we've done some cropping to remove the parts we don't want anywhere in our video. And then the third thing we did is we came here and then we went on to audio, and we tried to make it as soft as possible if we feel like the audio is not what you want it to be, or you can always select the one you want from this drop down menu. Fourth thing, the most important thing that we did was to cut out the unwanted parts, the parts where they drag words, the part where they repeat themselves, the part where the person on the video pauses and takes some breaks or whatever. We've taken all that one out, and that's the part which is taken most of the time. Then after that, we went to export here. We exported the video. Took some time, of course, depending on the computer that you have and how long the video is. This almost took like 20-30 minutes to just export and download this one video. After that, I've reloaded back the video into a new project. Then I've dragged it down to my timeline. So this is where we are right now. So what is the next step after this? Now at this point, guys, even before you go to the next step, this video is good to go. You can upload it on YouTube and people will love to watch it. But because people like to get entertained and you want to keep people's attention onto your video as long as possible, you will have to add B-rolls. Remember, people's attention span has gotten lower and lower by the day. Little as 6 seconds. Yes, 6 seconds. No wonder you see things like shorts and TikToks which had less than 60-second videos. People's attention span is now too low. So to make sure you grab people's attention for as long as possible, you want to add some B-rolls, some text, some music to make your video as attractive, as interesting as possible. So it means the next thing you're going to do, even before we add those B-rolls, is I'm going to try to speed up this talking pace of the person in this video. Now again, this is in line with the fact that people's attention span is getting so low. So you want to speed up a little bit the person on the video. Now this time it's not so much fast. If you click on play here,
guys, I've been slapped with a 13,000.
It's just the normal talking pace of anybody. But if you watch some of the most exciting videos on YouTube, you realize the person is talking a bit faster. You can even think think that this person is kind of talented in talking, but no. What they do, they kind of forward it a bit or speed up the talking pace of the person on the video. That's what we're going to do next. So the next thing is speed up the pace of talking. So how do you do that? Very simple. Right click on the video on the timeline, then navigate to speed here. On this drop down menu, navigate to speed and duration, and then there is speed here. Okay, you can customize speed. Right now it's at 1.00, which is the default and which is the normal one, and of course the duration of this video is 13 minutes and 11 seconds. So if I want to speed this up, but don't want to speed this up so much until the person appears to be a robot or appear like indeed you have speed up the pace of the person talking, what I'm going to do, I'm going to speed up with very few frames per second. I'm just going to say something like maybe just 10. So instead of 1.00, I'm going to have it at 1.11. Now at 1.11, remember this video was 13 minutes long. Because I've speeded it up, now it's 11 minutes and 59 seconds, almost 12 minutes long. So I've increased it by 0.10. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to see if for some reason this speed is good enough, or if this person now looks like a robot. If she speaks like a robot, then I'm going to crank this speed down. But if it's fine, I'm going to leave it that way. Mostly, okay, let's see what we have. Let me click on OK there. And then if I click on play.
So guys, I've been slapped with a $13,500 bill. Yeah.
So I'm just going to watch it for let's say like 2-3 minutes and see if maybe this speed is good enough for anybody who is watching this video.
Yes. Why? Due to my ignorance and probably from somebody I trusted.
That speed seems very natural to me. It seems okay. She doesn't sound like she's a robot or anything. So I'm going to leave it at 1.10 speed. So that is the fifth step, guys, as far as editing your video is concerned. Increasing the speed so that at least you get people more engaged and involved, and increase the watch time and view time of your video by increasing the speed. So try always to increase the speed by some few frames per second. Alright guys, so the next step is now adding b-rolls, pictures and graphics. So the good thing with the Filmora is that Filmora comes with an avalanche of transitions, effects, elements, and you can get amazing b-rolls from other sites I'm going to show you. Alright, so if you're using Filmora for the first time, of course you have to download this transition. So what I've done here is downloading the transition. So they're very cool transitions here. Let me play this and see. So look at that. That's a nice transition. Look at this other transition. That's also another transition. So you can just come here, and Filmora comes with several amazing good transitions you can use for your video. So just go ahead and look for the transition you want. After every maybe point or whatever, you can always add this transition. The next thing you want to do is you always want to add some effects. I've done always some effects here before. There are these amazing cool effects you can always add. We have a lot of transitions here, right guys? You can go to basic and see all these transitions that you have. We have amazing sporting, utility, education and tutorial transitions. Amazing transitions here. So again, just go ahead and pick whatever transition that you want. Then you can go to elements here. Of course, you can add elements. You have the timer here. We have over 500 elements recommended. We have over 1659 new elements here. We have 170 basic. We have stickers. So you see all these good elements, guys. Like, wow, these are all cool elements. You can add. We have even the subscribe elements right here. By the way, you can add the subscribe elements here because we're also going to add the subscribe elements. So guys, what we're doing right now is I'm just trying to show you the different effects or elements you can increase and transitions you can put into your video. Just play around with this. This is not a science. There is no specific rule you have to follow. Just be as creative as you can, and just, of course, there's some rule of thumb you have to follow. You can't use a crazy transition in a serious video like this. This is an educational video. So I'm going to use a transition or an element. I must make sure it's a bit serious or kind of education related transition of elements. So you also should have the same mindset when doing these transitions, elements and effects. There's also split screen here, guys. You can add a lot of split screen here. If you want to learn more about split screen, of course you can learn it on YouTube right here. Finally, before I finish, I didn't mention this one. There's audio here, so you're going to add some audio. Filmora also give you a bunch of free music and audio that you can use in your videos. And then there is title here. Of course, obviously there's no video I'm going to edit that I adding titles into my video. There are several different ways of doing titles and texts in your video editing. All right, so make sure you use these elements and transitions and titles and audio and effects in editing your videos. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add the elements, the transition effects in my video, and then we'll get back to this tutorial where we are going to add the subscribe button and then some music. Now guys, once you've added these elements, transitions, effects, and titles inside your video, you are good as done. You can now export and upload your video on YouTube. I think this is the last part. This is probably the last and the most important part, but stick around because I want to show you another important thing you have to do before you upload your video on YouTube. So stick around. This is the important part. The last part is also super important as far as uploading your video on YouTube and making people to view your videos on YouTube. So let's do this and then we go to the next step. So guys, at this point I'm just trying to add texts and other effects. I've started adding a text, this text here. Let me just show you how that text come out. So I've added this text.
And knocks at your email or at your phone with
so I've added that text onto my video. Now, when I'm doing this other second editing, I always want to make sure that you save your editing as you go through. So I've not saved anything here. I just want to show you how to save. To save, you just need to click on Ctrl S on your keyboard if you're on Windows. I hope it works the same if you're on Mac. Or alternatively, you can click on this button right here at the top right corner of your screen. There's a save project save button right here. Now I'm just going to click Ctrl S so that I save this, so that before I leave, maybe I've gotten tired, I want to leave this video, I'll continue editing it some other time. You always want to make sure that you save it and save it in the right folder. So I'm just going to save this, give it whatever name you want to give it. I'm just going to say edit with effects and text, so that it reminds me that right now what I'm doing, I'm adding other effects and texts. Then of course click on save. So it's going to save your document, your video, there on that folder you've chosen. When you come back next time, you're going to find that you can continue exactly from where you are. You don't want to close your project before you save it, so make sure that you save it. Okay guys, so it's 8:13 p.m. at night. I have taken probably the better part of the day editing this 13-minute video, and that is how long guys it takes to edit a video. Editing a video doesn't take 5 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on the length of the video and depending on how many effects and how many transitions and how many titles you want to add on the video. Editing a video can take up to 4, 8, even 12 hours to edit. So I've of course taken breaks in between the day. I went for lunch, I've gone for the gym, exercise in the evening, I've taken my supper, and right now I've just seated here so that I can finish editing it. Good news is I've finished editing it to the end. I've watched the entire video again just to make sure all the effects are the way I want them to be. Right now what I want to do before I do the final thing, which is adding music. I always like to add background music to make my videos more interesting and engaging. But before I do that, I always do that once I have exported this part. You can see right now there are so many different parts here. A lot of things are going on in my timeline right here. Now the reason why you want to add your music last is this. If you're going to post your video on YouTube, then YouTube is going to check if your music is copyrighted. Most YouTube beginners and most people who begin editing videos, you still don't have money to buy music. So you're mostly going to use free music, say from Pixabay or Pixel.com. Now the thing with those music is that they are copyrighted. They are people's intellectual property, and YouTube is not going to allow you to upload a video on their platform with that music. Well, you'll upload. YouTube will allow you to upload any video with any music on their platform, but they'll hit you with a copyright claim. Copyright claim here means, of course, that music that you've used is somebody else's intellectual property. So this depends. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, depending on which music you use. The good thing with most of the audio or music under Filmora right here, they are free to use. You can even use them for advertisement. You can use them to monetize, whatever. All the music under Filmora you can use to do whatever you want, and YouTube doesn't have any issue with it because Filmora is a paid software. So when you're paying for Filmora, you're also paying for all the music and audio that comes with it. So you don't fear using Filmora music or audio on your videos. Use them as much as you want. YouTube doesn't have a problem with them. It's yours. You're legally binded to use this music, and nobody's going to charge you for anything. But that one said, I always just like to download my video part or export my video first before I add music. So right now I'm just going to export this video, and then once I export it, it's going to take some time again. Once I export it, I'm going to upload it back again onto my Filmora, and then I'm going to add my music to finish like that. Now the reason why I don't add my music right here right now is because I want to use a music from another website or another source, and I don't know how YouTube is going to take this. That's why I still have to download this video first, then re-upload it back again to Filmora. It's when I'm going to add that music. I hope that makes sense, guys. I might be repeating myself here, but I hope I'm making sense. All right, let me export this video, and then we are good to go. Now, just before I export it, guys, at this point we are done. If you feel this thing is good enough, you can just go ahead and add your music. We are done. This is the end of editing your video. But again, I promise you to tell you just one more last thing before you finish editing your video, which let me just tell you before we leave right now. So guys, another so important thing about uploading videos on any platform, including YouTube, is you want to resize your videos. The thing with Filmora is you're going to, when you download or export your video from Filmora, it's going to come up with a very big size. We're talking about 13, 14, 15, even 60 GB, depending on the size, depending on how long the video was. So what you want to do, you want to crack down that size so that it becomes easy to upload that video on YouTube, and it also becomes easy for people to stream that video on YouTube. The smaller the size, the faster it streams and the faster it loads on people's gadgets and smartphones and desktops on YouTube. I hope that makes sense. So always make sure, and this is what I was saying I'm going to tell you last, make sure to trim down your videos. So how do you trim down your videos? You're going to use a free software called Handbrake, okay? So this is a free software called Handbrake. It's free. You can just go and download it right now on Google. And Handbrake is going to help you to trim down your video. So let me show you how you trim down your video. Of course, you're going to drop your video right here, okay? Drop a file or folder here. Let's say, for example, I have a video here like this. This is not my video, but let me just drop this video here. Of course, there it has. I've dropped this video here. This is not my video, but just for the sake of illustration, once you drop the video here on Handbrake, again, it's Handbrake. Then before you click on Start Encoding, which means start trimming or resizing the video down, you want to make sure you send it to the right folder. So I'm going to click on Browse right here. When it comes here, then choose the folder you want to take that video. Okay, then click on Save, of course. So again, click on this browse here to select the folder you want to take that video. Before you do that, just make sure that your format is MP4, right? Just make sure your format is MP4. Once you check those two things, guys, just go here and click Start Encoding, and your video is going to be trimmed to a sizable size, which is easy to upload and easy to stream or load on YouTube or any other platform. All right, guys, I hope that makes sense on how to trim or resize down your videos. Okay, guys, I'm back here. So here, what I want to do is I want to come to this export button here, click export, and then what Filmora does, it's going to validate, right? It's saying validating resources. It's validating if I've used any resource that is paid. Now, again, under Filmora, there are some resources that are paid, which I always don't even use them because the unpaid ones just get the job done. Okay, once it starts running that check, it gives you here, right? Of course, like we did this before. You're going to give it a name, you're going to give it a folder or a directory you want to send it, and then you're going to click export to start exporting. Now, this is the name I want it to have. And then, of course, I already gave it a folder. I'm just going to click on select, and then I click on export, and then it's going to start exporting. All right, guys, that is the end of video editing in Filmora. Now, it's very simple. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope now you know how to edit your videos in Filmora. It is that simple. It is that straightforward. There is nothing difficult in editing videos in Filmora. If you like this video, guys, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button to support us and support my effort in creating for you great value and great content. Also, comment with any video around Filmora that you want me to create in the future on the comment sections below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video.